Hi, friends. I talk all the time about how, as mom, you are the perfect person to provide support for your child who is struggling with mental wellness. I give ideas on ways you can start conversations or strategies that you can teach to your child. But what about when those conversations have happened so often, or you've tried teaching those strategies so often that your kid is starting to roll their eyes, that they're like, no, mom, I don't have time to talk about that right now. That happens all the time in my house, by the way. In this video today, I'm going to share with you what to do if that's occurring and ways that you can continue to teach your child these strategies, even if they're tired of hearing about it. I'm Ashley Jangro. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, where we talk about all things mental health for moms. I'm the founder of the Mentally Strong Mom Method, where we really focus in on building up mom's mental strength and helping her learn and apply the strategies to her own life so that she has not only that mental strength, but the experiential knowledge of strategies she can use to raise mentally strong kids. So, as I mentioned, this happens all the time in my house. I'm often asking my kids, what does that feel like? What does that feeling feel like? What does that emotion feel like in your body? What does it look like? And because I've asked that question so many times, I often get eyes rolled at me. So, and I joke about this all the time because my kids don't actually roll their eyes, but they like roll their eyes with their whole body, even if they don't even look up. You can see the eye roll with their body. So that happens all the time. I'm like, whoa, you just rolled your eyes with your shoulders. I don't know how you did that. So when that happens, I realize, okay, it's time to back off. This is becoming something irritating to them. So I'll just leave it alone for right now. And it's so frustrating to me because I'm like, listen, guys, if you learn these two strategies to process your emotions and to become aware of and manage your thoughts, you can do anything with your lives. You can have anything. And they're like, yes, we know, mom. And I'm like, no, listen, I'm giving you the secret to the universe. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So strange because I listened so well when I was a teenager. But just because they get a little bit irritated does not mean that I have to stop teaching these things. I just go about it a little bit differently. So I teach this all the time in the Mentally Strong Mom Method, to use yourself to be living in transformation by applying strategies to your own life and experiencing such intense transformation that your kids benefit from it, that they notice mom's different, that they see you using the strategies. And this is not just so that they're seeing that example, but it's because it has a really intense impact on their brain as well. We have something called mirror neurons, which means whoever we're spending time with, whoever we're watching, we start emulating their behavior and their mannerisms and their way of speaking below our awareness without even meaning to. And so, as they are seeing you experience transformation, they are going to continue to learn those skills, even though they don't know that they're learning them. And I saw this really play out a couple of weeks ago with my daughter. It was one of those moments where I was like, wow, I'm practicing what I teach. And it's powerful stuff. So my daughter and I were having an argument. This was my one of my teenagers, and I don't even remember what it was about at this point, but I remember very clearly having a very intense emotion that I named in a few minutes rejection. I was feeling very rejected by her and it hurt. It hurt all over my body. And I recognized, I mean, at first I just started to notice that my body was getting tight, but I also started hearing the words I was using. I started noticing that I was being really snippy with her. And I started hearing the thoughts in my head. Like I wanted to say some things to her. I wanted to suggest that she go stay the night somewhere else. I wanted to just tell her, like, I don't even want to be around you right now. And I know that that's not my heart. So as I was hearing these thoughts come up in my head, I realized, okay, I have an intense emotion going on and I need to deal with it. So I used my favorite strategy that I talk about often in my videos, called STOP. It's an acronym, STOP, to process that emotion. What I normally do is I kind of pull myself away. I go in the other room. I might say, like, I need to go to the bathroom or something, and then go process my emotion. But I decided in this moment, no, I'm just going to do this right here. And I was like, you know what? I need to pause for a second. I need to stop because I'm having a really intense emotion and it's preventing me from interacting with you the way I want to. So I'm going to do my little exercise. The acronym stands for slow down, take control, observe, and process. So that's what I did. Slow down. And the way I do that is I think about, we have 4 possible options when we react to emotion, or when we have an intense emotion. We can react to it, we can resist it, we can avoid it, or we can allow it. And so by slowing down, I'm just choosing to allow it, as opposed to picking up my phone and avoiding it, or resisting it and pushing it away. And so I just sat there with it, and I named it in my mind. Okay, this is the feeling of rejection, and it hurt in my body. And then the T, I moved on to the T, and I told her this. I said this out loud. Okay, I'm taking control. My brain is spinning out of control right now. It's just like a 2-year-old with a black Sharpie in a room with a white couch. Like, it's going crazy. It's offering me all these thoughts that I don't want to have. So I'm taking that Sharpie, I'm taking those thoughts away from my brain, and I'm telling it to shh. If I start to spin out of control again, sometimes I really focus in on my breathing. I might do a square breathing where I breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts. And so I give my brain a job, and so it can't spin out of control. And that's my way of taking control. So I slowed down, allowed the emotion, then I took control back by focusing on my breathing. And my daughter was sitting here watching this as I was doing this. And then I said to her, okay, I'm moving into my body. I want to observe where that emotion is residing in my body. And I said to her, I feel really, my shoulders are really tight. My stomach hurts. I feel it in my chest, and I feel that I'm clenching my jaw. And I looked at my hands, and I was like, I had fists. And I was like, okay, I see this emotion all over my body. And in doing that, I'm creating that mind-body connection. I'm becoming aware of those tension spots, and then I can direct that same breath to those spots. And then I moved to the P of stop, which is process the emotion. And to process the emotion, I have a bunch of different strategies that I use to process, but my favorite one is to describe the physical attributes of how that emotion is showing up in my body. So I already observed it in my body and found it, but now I want to focus in on the feeling and how it presents. So I found the shape of it. I was like, okay, it's kind of like a sword shape, like coming up through my throat, and it's like bright glowing yellow. And then there's this like brick shape in my stomach that's bright red, like the color of a brick. And I just feel it there, and it's rejection, and it's painful. And I started trying to find the outline of it in my body, like exactly how far I could feel that emotion moving through my body. And I told her, it's not, the brick part is not so much moving, but the sword is like moving up through my throat, like it wants to come out. And I told her, it's like solid brick, and the sword is like steel. Like I feel like I could touch it and it'd be freezing cold. And as I was describing it, as I was processing by describing, that emotion began to dissipate. What was happening inside my brain is I was moving out of my amygdala, which is my emotion center in my brain, and I was connecting to my prefrontal cortex, which is my decision making and my rational side of my part of my brain. And once that connection was restored, I was able to look at those thoughts I was having that were all emotion based and realize, I don't think that. I don't even feel that way. I don't believe these things about my daughter. I don't believe that she's rejecting me. And I was able to approach it from a more rational place of, she's, the things that had happened were based on her being distracted or being really busy or whatever, but not because she was rejecting me. So I did all this while I was sitting in front of my daughter. And I kind of came back to the moment, and I was expecting that same thing, like, yes, Mom, we all know that you process your emotions. And it wasn't like that at all. She was staring at me, and I said, I used the question I always do with my kids. I'm like, what's coming up for you? And she crawled across the couch. And this is a teenager. I mean, she's very tiny, but she's still a teenager. And she crawled onto my lap, and she put her head on my shoulder. And I was like, what's happening here? I'm not sure what's going on. And I said, are you okay? And she said, I want to be able to do that. And I was like, do what? And she's like, I just have these intense emotions all the time. And I've heard you tell me, describe the emotion and describe what it looks like, but I've never seen it done. And I just watched you have this really intense, painful emotion, and it just went away. And now you can talk to me differently. And you did start talking to me differently. And she's like, I want to be able to do that. And moms, I tried really hard not to like jump off the couch and start cheering. I didn't. I was like, perfect, I can help you. I don't think I said that because I didn't want to ruin the moment. I was like, okay. So that opened up a whole different conversation. But what I realized walking away from that was, as she's seeing me in transformation, experiencing transformation, as she's seeing me apply these tools to my life, it has a profound impact on her. And not just because of obvious reasons, but because of what it's doing to her brain as well, because of the mirror neurons, because her brain, as it sees success, it becomes more neuroplastic or able to learn something new. Her brain sends signals to her neurons, or her synapses, sends chemicals to her synapses to prepare it to learn something new, because she's seen success. So she knows it'll be successful, and because she's now willing to try it. So it prepares her to learn it in a whole different way because of that willingness and because she's seen success. So I just wanted to share that with you, how this is the basis of everything that I teach in the Mentally Strong Mom method, is that as moms, we are building up our own mental strength. Not only can we show up differently in those conversations because we are not victims of our emotions anymore, but as our kids see it happen and they see us successfully applying these strategies, it has such a profound impact on their own mental health. And I can tell you, since then, she has been mentioning, yeah, so I was like processing this emotion the other day. I was at school and I was really frustrated, and I like found the color of it and I found the shape, and I'm, again, trying not to get a smug look or cheer out loud or anything. I just nod like a really unemotional mom would. That's not true at all. But it's been really neat to see her applying that. So if this is the kind of thing that you would like to be learning, if you'd like to be learning these skills so you can be living in transformation, so that your kids can see it, so that you are raising mentally strong kids, I would love to invite you to join my free online community called the Mom Squad. You can get to it by going to momsquad.ashley.tube and just enter your name and email address, and you can join that free online community. If you are interested in participating in one of the cohorts of the Mentally Strong Mom method, you will be able to find out within that community when I'm opening a new one. So I look forward to meeting you there. I look forward to hearing about how you tried a strategy in front of your child and the impact it had on them. I'll see you there.